Welcome to my backyard. Today I want to share with you the positive vibe warrior master, Patrick Gudauskas, world-class surfer. Pat is one of those guys, when you meet him, you gotta love him. Find out the keys that made him the surfer he is today. Lessons in winning today with Pat Gudauskas. I'm with my good friend Pat Gudauskas. Pat, thanks for being here tonight. This is awesome.
Thanks.
Pat and I have been working together for a number of years. He has the mental edge, and more importantly, he has lessons he's going to share with you that'll help you win like he does. So Pat, how long have you been surfing?
I've been surfing pretty much my whole life, since I was about 2 years old.
Wow.
So 31 years total.
Wow.
On the water?
On the water since then.
Yeah.
And do you remember your first competition?
I think I do. Yeah, I kind of like vaguely remember it. I think it's more just a general time. I remember like starting to get into it, and it was like a family thing. And my twin brother Dane, we'd go down and we just do a family day on the beach. And I put a jersey on, win, lose or draw, come in, be psyched, and yeah, it's cool.
Awesome, that positive vibe. Yeah, you got that early on.
Yeah.
So now, I remember just December, Pipe Masters. You're in the stand-up barrel. You're just looking as cool as can be, and all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, bam, lights go out. What's that like?
That's what? That's part of the fun. It really is. It's pretty wild. That was like, that one wave in particular was kind of one of the more iconic feeling waves I've had at Pipeline. It was this huge, 15-foot pipe wall coming in, and I was underneath it, and I just whipped around and ripped under the hood. And when I took off, I just had this kind of white moment that we talk about often, and everything went in slow motion. I just stood completely straight up and down, and it was kind of like a bit of a bravado to say, I don't know what I'd be saying. Well, I'd probably be saying F you in a sense, kind of like to anyone who was doubting me. I just stood straight up in that thing and just wore it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went straight to the reef and kind of bounced off that and came up from a big pounding, and yeah, it was all good.
And next wave, right?
Next wave,
exactly. When you're looking at that wave right now on camera, look at that sucker. That was awesome. Now, if you're listening on radio or whatever you're doing for the podcast, you can look at that online. You'll see that wave. It's an amazing wave. So from 2 years old to Pipe Masters, being a professional surfer, making a living, how long have you been making a full-time living as a surfer?
For me, it started right around the end of high school. I was probably a sophomore, about 17 years old, and started doing a couple events and getting noticed on a global stage, and then I won nationals, and that kind of led me into a place where the company I ride for now, they're family now. Vans, skate shoes and surf apparel and surf shoes, and
I got my Vans on right here, brother.
Yeah,
I love them.
They're spectacular. I mean, these guys, they're originally known for skate shoes, all the way through the Dogtown era, and so these guys, they ended up pushing into surf, and they invited my brothers and I have two brothers, Dane and Tanner, and our friend Dylan Graves, to kind of be the ambassadors and the heartbeat of their program. So, really thankful. It's allowed us to do some pretty amazing trips and journeys and art projects and everything in between. So it's really been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you even have some programs on Red Bull, right? Red Bull TV?
Yeah, Red Bull TV. We did a series called Down Days. My brothers and I, and that was with Vans, an idea of pushing into a non-endemic type of a setting and really bringing surf and culture and music and art and everything fun into, a show that allowed people to be inspired to go travel and go like, oh, I'm going to go San Sebastian. What should I do? Click in and go, oh, I should do all those things, because that's like the sickest shit. So
that's a nice way to make a living.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun doing that, and that still exists on YouTube and on Red Bull.
Wow. And so you and Dylan go back how far?
Yeah, so Dylan, he's same age as Dane and I. We're both, Dane and I are twins. Dylan's also 33. And we met Dylan when we were like 12, 13 years old. Oh, nice. And we invited him over for dinner at around Nationals is when everyone would come all over the U.S. And he's from Puerto Rico. So they actually came, they had this really strong contingent from Puerto Rico, and they came over, and we said, dude, just come over for dinner and be sick. And then we met his brother Josie and Dylan and became great friends. And yeah, we spent a lot of time in the Caribbean with those guys and a lot of time here with those guys as well.
Excellent connection. He's got a new show out called Weird Waves, which looks really interesting.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's like Dylan has got this passion for, unique waves. And he did a great job. He came together with Vans, and they created a series called Weird Waves. We call him Weird Waves Graves, for a long time. And yeah, if you guys anyone on YouTube, check it out. Weird Waves on Vans, and it's the most fun thing you can do. He just surfs all these esoteric waves and has a heck of a good time doing it. So
yeah, it's a great way to make a living, brother.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now. If I wasn't doing this, I want to be you.
Yeah, I know. That's
if you weren't doing this, would you want to be me?
I would be down. I'm down for it. I'm like, what up?
So,
Yeah,
hey, seriously,
cool.
if you weren't a pro surfer, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't a pro surfer, gosh, I don't know. I'd love to be a musician. I'm not. I don't think nearly on the level of being one, but that looks fun, performing in front of people.
That's
it's the same thing I'm doing now, just in a different landscape. But
absolutely good stuff. So, Positive Vibe Warriors, an amazing nonprofit that these boys have put together, doing good things around the world. How did Positive Vibe Warriors start?
Positive Warriors, it kind of started. It's a lot like what we do, really. It started with me, Dane, and Tanner attacking the qualifying series, which is a competition series, and it was all about going into this really challenging situation, trying to make good on it. And my brother wrote on my board one time going on a trip, Positive Warriors, with the 3 stick symbols to go, hey, you're not going alone. Like it's a team effort. Let's go take it down. And
way cool.
So it started kind of as a mental headspace, and then that kind of just transitioned, and it became where people were just really enthusiastic about it, and we really wanted to do something with the momentum and said, hey, we want to give back to future generations of surf. We focus really heavily on youth water safety programs, giving back to those. And also we do these board drive initiatives that are part of emerging surf communities where surfing is an outlet for kids of, violence or communities of violence or impoverished
Tell me about that South African deal you with.
Yeah.
That was an amazing story. That was very impacted with poverty and violence.
Yeah, it was crazy. That came to be kind of the same thing as Dylan Graves. It's a friend of ours that Mikey February is his name, and he invited us down for this program they have called Waves for Change. And we raised over 800 surfboards, surf equipment, all sorts of different things. And we brought them down to the shores here in Cape Town, South Africa. And, we went into some pretty heavy areas in terms of the poverty and the challenges these kids face. It's like as extreme as it gets. And the program there, they've created a way of utilizing surf as a mental wellness or a communication center where kids can come, feel safe, do something that's active outdoors, and they can communicate, kind of psychology lessons to these kids and go, okay, talk it out and make sure you have respect for the ocean, respect for your friend, and all these different lessons that really changed our lives. I mean, it was one of the most spectacular trips I've done, and we did a film. Anyone out there? It's called Can't Steal Our Vibe. It's on iTunes. It's going to be on Netflix and everything soon, and so please check it out. And it really kind of shares that whole journey. And yeah, what a amazing trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pat Gudauskas, surfing waves, changing lives. I love it. So Pat, lessons in winning. What were some of the early lessons your parents instilled to you about winning?
Our mom and dad were sick because they were so hands-on with us, at such a young age. I feel like one of the biggest things my dad always kind of coined to us was try again. What is it? It said, if you fail, oh, see, I'm already butchering it. It's, if you don't succeed, try again. And that was, I think, the whole spirit of just give it everything you have. Don't leave anything on the table, and always give it 120%. Don't feel regret. Don't feel any remorse of, I didn't try hard enough. So for us growing up, that was always it. It was never like we were touted to be the best in any regard, but we tried harder than anyone, and worked harder than anyone.
Oh, I see the work in all you boys. I've had the privilege of working with all the Gudauskas brothers, and amazing family, good work ethic. What has evolved as far as your lessons in winning? What's the most important lessons right now that you can think of that you want to pass on to the audience?
One of the biggest things that you and I worked on was control what you can control and don't worry about what you can't control. And I think that was a big thing for me in the last 10 or 15 years of competing at a super high level was not being wrapped up in things I can control. And I think focusing on myself and centering that energy has brought the best performances out of myself. And actually in life, I don't think it's limited to contests or performing in that space, but being centered around what I'm hoping to do and feeling and staying connected to that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal.
And so when it comes to winning, you've been close a lot. You made the CT the biggest, most prestigious tour in the world. You've missed it by just a hair. You've won competitions. You've got knocked off by waves not coming up from the ocean when they were supposed to. The swell just dies. Surfing is one of the toughest sports I've been around to win a competition because so many things are beyond your control. Yeah. How do you deal with those things?
I mean, the great thing about working with you is I think that's really brought that out of me of like, how do we approach a situation we can't control? And I think for myself, it's really come back to preparation. You know, like, I looked at my 4 elements. It was mind, body, equipment, and strategy. And I thought if I could bring those 4 elements into a place where I felt confident, then I wouldn't think about anything else. I would just instinctually perform. And that's really been a big part for me. I think that's brought my best surfing out to date, and we're improving always.
Yeah. Getting older, getting better. Yeah. You've got your yellow L Merrick special. Yeah. Why is this a good piece of equipment for you?
So this one's called the Fever. This is my signature model with challenge, and that really helped, the second stage of my career to get back on tour, and it was a driving force for me to have the equipment completely dialed to a place that I didn't think about it. I just said, that's the board, and this is that board. And the yellow was part of kind of like a statement, Yeah. And that was, we even talked about that, was like, it's a performing art, and having that kind of chutzpah and easy visibility. And in surfing, sometimes you're a mile out to sea and it's the lighting's behind you and the wind's going everywhere and someone can't see you. So you won't miss me. I don't think.
You won't miss him. It stands out. So that's the equipment. Mm-hmm. How has your strategy evolved?
So strategy for me has been exciting because I feel like I'm still learning and I'm so passionate about it, and I think it's really come to a place where I feel like I have a pretty good formula for what I want to achieve. Mm-hmm. A lot of it for me is just staying on my board. When I finish my waves, I tend to win my heats. So, that's a big part of it. Also just kind of how I'm approaching different waves, and that comes with time going into lineups and understanding Bell's Beach or Chopu or Pipeline or whatever it is. And when you're comfortable there, then you have your strategy around that,
Mentally, we talked about the things that you've done, and one of the things you expressed was meditation kind of left you hanging. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was in my mind thinking meditation seemed like a great solution to competing in a field where the elements are continuously changing. You have judges who are subjective. You have all these things you can't control. And I thought, okay, meditation would make sense to kind of alleviate that overthinking it or whatever you want to call it. And working with you, we've dove into the Mimovis where we've gone really about mindful meditation. And I think having that goal, that you're meditating towards a goal and you're visualizing towards an action, and I feel like to me that's really unlocked a huge facet of physical performance by being mentally prepared and already kind of feeling I've walked the steps. So when I get there, it feels totally natural and instinctual, and I'm like, yeah, this is how I already envision myself doing it, and so I guess it's a balance of that meditative state in more of a goal state mind.
Yeah, I think that's important. I've seen that in you. Now our mind is being free to go towards a purpose as opposed to just being free and go wherever it chooses to go, right? So action-oriented mindfulness is really what it's all about. And so we've got mind, we've got strategy, we've got equipment. What's the fourth one?
Fourth one, we had strategy, mind, equipment, and physical.
And physical. Yeah. So tell me about your physical makeup and what have you been doing to train yourself?
Well, I'm like kind of a string bean, I'm like, I eat like a horse and I stay pretty lean, and physically for myself as a surfer, I've always aspired to be more powerful. I think my brothers, I'm surrounded by Tanner, my younger brother, who's, he looks like a linebacker. The guy's so strong physically, and my brother Dane as well is like just a power surfer, and so I've always kind of been influenced by them and wanted to aspire to that. And working with you, and also like we've been doing a lot of different squattings and different kind of I mean, how would you describe our workouts? I don't know.
Lifting rocks and,
Yeah,
and
like
some
in the
martial arts and core
Yeah.
stuff, and getting your hips and butt stronger.
Yeah, and I really like that because it's created like a discipline energy for me, and also the flexibility, the balance, the explosiveness, the power. Just getting to see the UFC champ or the Bellator champ that was just here.
Yeah.
She was so strong, and I just go, man, it's so exciting for me to bring that into surfing physically because then I can let my creativity do everything I want to do.
Yeah.
And if you're not strong, you can't do that.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
So-
You've come a long way. You're going to keep getting better. That's just the way it's going to be, right?
That's the way.
Because there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind.
Yeah.
If you had one song you could listen to, and only one song, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Well, I really love Hawaiian music. There's a song called Kavika, which is by the Kauai Crater Boys, and it's just an old school song that I heard as a kid, and I've idolized Hawaii for so long as a surfer. I listen to that and it puts me in that happy place. I could listen to it forever, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if there's one word that describes you as a professional athlete, what would it be?
As a professional athlete, I would say relentless or fearless.
Okay.
Or probably both.
Or
I'm taking two words.
Relentless, fearless. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
coin it. And as a human being, as a person, what's one word that best describes you?
I think love, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I got a lot of love to give, so
Yeah.
I'd say probably love, which is a good thing, I think.
Part of that positive vibe warrior. Now,
Yeah.
now, how did you meet your wife? Beautiful lady,
yeah.
intelligent, love talk. How did you meet her?
So I met Hanoi in France a long time ago, 10 years ago, and we were just on the beach. I was in a competition. She was kind of an ambassador for the brand that was putting on the event, and she happened to be there, and I had the guts to go say what's up and sit down and talk with her, and yeah, we just slowly kind of kept in touch, and then eventually became really serious, and now I'm married and couldn't be more happy. Yeah.
Awesome.
She's from Tahiti, so she's like a sweetheart.
It's a
Well,
that temperament,
island
right?
style. Yeah.
So think about that. No guts, no glory. No guts, no woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he went for it. She's beautiful. He went for it.
Yeah.
All they can say is no. So that's a
Go
lesson
for
in
it.
winning,
Yeah.
right? Go
Fearless.
for it. That's
Don't-
right.
don't back
so
down.
people watching, listening, if you could sum up the lessons in winning, that what it takes to be a great athlete, what would be the lesson you want to convey to everybody?
Well, I think work ethic. I think don't ever chintz on that. Work as hard as you can for what you truly want to do and what you believe in. I still think control what you can control, don't worry about what you can't control. That comes back to letting go. And I think just being yourself and letting it come through.
Excellent. Pat, thanks for coming out here.
Yeah,
Let's
thank you.
show the audience a surf technique or two. So, Pat, I hear this term, goofy foot. What's a goofy foot?
So goofy foot was kind of how you stand on the surfboard. You either have one of two directions. Goofy foot is right foot forward, left foot back. And then if you're regular foot like I am, it's right foot back, left foot forward.
Gotcha. So, show us how you ride a wave. How
Yeah.
do you drop in and do a bottom turn?
Well, it all starts, normally when you're surfing, you gotta start out and you're gonna be paddling, right? So you're kind of trying to match the speed of the wave coming behind you. And then you really want to pop up. We call it a burpee. And it's all about real quick energy. So you kind of take a push up all the way to your stance. And
Look
you
at
wanna
look
stay
those knees.
really low.
Look at those. See there. Look
Yeah.
at those knees. That's what we.
And that's like my whole life is like this. I'm
Yeah.
just stuck in this position.
And that's why some of the training we do, you're out of balance because your body is so used to being a surfer, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And really when you're surfing, you're so heavily based around your back leg that it really does imbalance your kind of whole program. But, that's the best thing. That's why all of our training is really staying low and, that's where all your power.
Now,
the
what's
whole
this?
thing
So
starts
look
there.
at you do this little sweep thing. What are you talking about here?
It's not a dance move. So that's kind of like when you're coming down the wave, the wave face. For me, it's opening up to do my maneuver. So a lot of people, at an early level, you're just enjoying the ride. But when you get in the higher level, you really want to be opening up, and that gives you a canvas to paint your picture.
Awesome, Pat.
So-
Thanks for painting that canvas for us,
Yeah,
brother.
thanks, Ken.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.